Hello Internet, and welcome to another Freeblades 101. I've been quite busy with work and family real life stuff, but I am back now and ready to start a new series of videos. This series of videos is going to be a drill down of each phase in Freeblades. If you guys have seen my first video, you will have seen me controlling both sides and doing several mock turns, going through each of the phases and showing what goes on. In these videos, I'm going to focus just on one phase and go over the multitude of stuff and what you can do in each of those phases. This first video will probably be fairly short, as it is the event phase. The event phase is fairly straightforward, though it is also very important. So the first phase is the event phase. Each player, unless you're playing the Valkyrians, will roll a d10. The Valkyrians have a theme rule for their faction that allows them to either roll a d8 or a d12 for their initiative rolls. Now, some people might wonder why you wouldn't always just roll a d12, and that's because you may not always want to go first. Especially if it's a scenario, you may want to go second. You may want to react to what your opponent does, as opposed to you having the initiative and going. So, everybody besides the Valkyrians will just roll a d10. The Valkyrians get to choose a d8 or a d12. So, each player that's playing, whether you have 2, 3, 5, 6, whatever, will roll a d10. Highest player has the initiative. They are known as the first player. You then go in the second highest roll with the second player, so on and so forth. To be a crit, you have to have 10 more than your opponent, or if you are playing in a multiplayer game, you have to have 10 more than the second player. So you could crit the third player, but that doesn't count. You have to crit the next highest roll. And only one player can crit. So only the person that would roll the highest, if there was a multiplayer game, would be allowed to have a critical roll. With the critical roll, you may attempt to put one additional model on delay for every level of crit you have. So if you've critted it by 1, you could put 2 models. You could test in the movement phase to put 2 models on delay. The other bonus you can choose to have, instead of trying to put an extra model on delay, is you can you can just change the initiative order. So what that means is you get to pick it. So even though you critted it and you should go first, you can say, no, I want to go second. If you're in a multiplayer game, you can completely change how that is. You can have the person that rolled least go first, the person that rolled second best go last, however you want to change it, and it'll affect the entire turn, all the phases. And in essence, that is it. That's the event phase. Now, certain scenarios are going to have extra things you're going to have to do. If you're playing something along the lines of Beast Hunt or Demon Infestation or the Black Knight or the Sorcerer scenarios or the Nest, those have a third group. If you don't have a third player, there are rules that allow you to control them as NPCs, but you have to determine who makes the rolls for the NPCs. In the rulebook, it's fairly straightforward. Before you roll your initiative, so this would be before you figured out what everybody does, both players will have to roll a die, and whoever rolls the highest then controls the NPCs. The one caveat to that is the player who has had the most models dropped controls it. If there's a tie is when you have to roll off. So the first couple turns, probably nobody's dead yet, you'll have to roll off. But as soon as the model is dropped, then it goes to whoever has the most dropped models. Not dropped wounds, it's models. So if you've had 2 of your heroes dropped and they have 3 of their followers drop, the person with the 3 followers dropped will control the NPCs. And that pretty much is the event phase. There's not a whole lot to it, but again, determining who can go first can be fairly big, as opposed to also who can go second. If you want to react to your opponent, you're going to want to roll low. You're not going to want to get that win. But if you want to be able to charge in to try and save that prisoner, maybe you need to get that initiative check. But that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and until next time.